Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the webinar hosted by IIM Udaipur. Before beginning, I would request you all to put your queries in Q&A section and not in the chat section. I am Shivika Gupta, a current student of DEM program, and today on the panel we have Mr. Rajesh Agrawal, Chairperson of one-year MBA program, Dr. Y. Shekhar, Head of Digital Enterprise Center, and from admissions team we have Ms. Tanu. Now I would like to hand over to Mr. Rajesh sir to carry on.
Thank you, Shivika, very much. And a very warm welcome to all the participants who are attending this webinar today, and wish all of you a very happy new year. Next slide, please. So at the very beginning, I would like to talk to you about the credentials of IIM Udaipur. IIM Udaipur is among the top 100 business schools in the world as ranked by Financial Times Masters in Management ranking. Likewise, it's very important to note that it has been staying at this ranking top 100 for the 5 consecutive years. Likewise, we are also ranked by QS World University ranking for the 3rd consecutive ranking year, and we are an institution which has the prestigious AACSB rank accreditation, which is called the Association to Advance the Collegiate School of Business. And we are the youngest institution in the world to have received this accreditation. And why it's important? Because only 5% of the business schools globally enjoy this accreditation. So why I'm talking to you about these rankings and accreditation is because it speaks about quality and excellence. Next slide, please. Talking about the MBA program structure, those of you who successfully complete the program shall get an MBA degree. And it's a 1-year full-time program, on-campus program. And to be able to apply for this program, you need at least 36 months of full-time work experience after your graduation. One of the common questions that people have as far as the GMAT, GRE, or the CAT score is concerned as to what is the minimum score or a cutoff that we have to be able to apply and become eligible to join this program. I would like to mention this here, that we do not have a specific cutoff in mind. I repeat, we do not have a specific cutoff in mind. When we evaluate applications, we evaluate them in totality. We look at your academic background, we look at your experience, we of course look at the scores, and then holistically evaluate the application for the purpose of shortlisting as well as for final decision on who gets selected. Of course, your interview scores will also count. So that's the brief background about the admission process. Going forward, next slide, please. So, it's a very unique program and the first ever in the country. This is the only program in the country which is, putting the two together, which is the management education as well as digital. I don't have to perhaps tell you the relevance of digital in today's world order, right? Now, if you look at the structure of the program, at the very bottom of the pyramid, you see the business management fundamentals, which means because you're going to become an MBA after this program, you must be aware about all the fundamentals which are in the area of business management. Then you should also know the fundamentals of digital management. When we say digital management, when we are talking about essentially how are we going to apply the concepts of management in a digital organization, it basically talks about the emerging concepts and methods and practices, how we make use of them in a business context. Then whenever we talk about digital, at the core of digital is data and technology. How do we exploit, how do we harness the power of data and technology? For what end? For the purpose of improving our business. You see, the entire focus of this program is on improving business decision because you are going to be an MBA. But we want to see how do we leverage the power of technology and the data and the emerging practices in this field to improve businesses, right? That's the basic focus of the course. And then having learned all this, Then you see how do you apply the concepts of digital in a specific industry vertical, such as retail or fintech or B2B, or for that matter, healthcare or social sector. These are specific applications of the concept that you have learned in a specific domain, industry domain. And then, program design is such that it takes into account that it's very important for you to experience digital as it happens in the real life. While all these programs that we delivered thus far that I've talked to you about involves case method of teaching and bringing the real life experiences to the classroom, another special component of the program is experiencing real life by way of live industry project where you will be involved in solving a real life industry project. So you shall be working on a company project, say from Infosys or TCS or any other company which has digital issue with respect to a problem to be solved. Then you shall be working across terms 2 and 3 with an internal IIM Udaipur faculty guide and an industry guide where you shall dirty your hands and solve such problems. That gives you a quick hands-on experience on solving problem. So we believe that DEM design is unique, which gives you both the exposure to business management, digital, and decision-making practices. Next slide, please. If you look at the DEM course design on the left-hand side of the screen, you will see all the fundamentals of business management, such as finance, human resources, marketing, strategy, operations. And then there are courses that you see in blue boxes with respect to digital management, which is design thinking, agile, DevOps, multi-sided platform, product management. And then in the middle, you also see technology and data related courses such as analytics, blockchain, cloud, artificial intelligence, and the like. And I was talking to you a while ago about the application in the industry vertical, which is like fintech, social sector, data-driven organization, or healthcare, and things like that. And the very last one is basically where you do a live project, right? And you also do, with respect, do a important component of capstone, which is also an integrative exercise where you put everything together. This is broadly the course design, but happy to answer any questions that you may have. Next slide, please. So the institution has taken the issue of digital as very important, unique selling proposition of IIM Udaipur, and it has set up a center for digital enterprise, which is headed by none other than Dr. Shekhar, who is an veteran in the industry in the field of digital. And so I would like to request Dr. Shekhar, the head of the center, to talk to you more about the center and how it relates with the program. Over to you, Dr. Shekhar.
Professor Rajesh. Good evening, a warm welcome, and very happy 2024 to all of you who've taken time to be with us this evening. I'm happy to speak to you about the Center for Digital Enterprise that was set up in late 2018 with the initial charter to develop a program which would enable managers and leaders to actually become the business heads in the context of digital. So our prime objective of setting up a DEM program is to develop management and leadership talent for the digital world, which is, as Professor Rajesh mentioned, is in context. It is something that is growing very rapidly and something that consumes maximum time of the CEO of the current organizations. How do I digitalize my organization is the question that most CEOs are asking. So how did we go about and how do we continue to go about looking at digital, which incidentally doesn't have a firm definition for us to say this is what digital is and this does not include digital. So right now, it's almost like an all-pervasive area that we are working on. And therefore, we lean a lot on the industry. So one of the primary things that the center focuses on is a relationship, and a very strong relationship with the industry. And that benefits in terms of understanding contemporary trends, practices, challenges that the organizations are facing. Some of these challenges get converted into student projects, so we engage with the industry for projects. We also invite a lot of people from the industry, especially the leaders, to come and speak into the program to the students to enable them to understand what are the kinds of challenges top management is dealing with on a day-to-day basis. And also some of them who are interested and capable of teaching to teach some of these subjects that require a lot of inputs from the industry. So we have a lot of practitioners from the industry who teach in the Digital Enterprise Management program. And this center facilitates many of those interactions. Our interest is actually to develop further and go beyond the program. And we are currently engaged in trying to work on research in the area of digital, which could be useful to develop new knowledge base. We are also exploring the possibility of engaging with companies to help them build their leadership team for the digital changes that they are looking for. And these would be specialized programs and custom developed programs for organizations. And eventually, at some point in time, we hoped to actually work with the governments at the state and central level to enable creation of policy for digital. Now, in the current context, we are adapting existing rules, laws, regulations to the digital world, but we need a clear concept and a policy. And in some places, India is developing very well. There are many areas where India needs a lot of inputs. And at some point in time, we hope to play the role of an advisor to the governments through the Center for Digital Enterprise. So this is our large canvas under which we work. And all of them eventually boil down to how do we work towards developing new knowledge, new experience, which can be brought back into the program and given to the students in the form of either projects or assignments or courses or lectures by industry people. Maybe just move to the next. So to give you a glimpse as to what we do, we have an advisory board from the industry. You can see the people who are there on the advisory board. It's a cross-section of the industry. So we have people from technology, management consulting, startups. We have faculty, people who have founded companies. So all this is a mix from where we actually use them as a sounding board. We use their inputs to look at the program, look at what we need to be doing, and how do we engage deeply with the industry. The industry is also responding very fairly to us at this point in time, because everybody understands that digitalization of business is where the future is. And at some point in time, they would all need people who are capable of understanding both business and technology in the same breath. So that is where this entire organization, which is the Center for Digital Enterprise, is focused on. And we are fortunate to have these members from the industry advising us. Many of them actually come and interact with the students by delivering lectures to them about trends and challenges that are there in their business areas. And they also participate in projects and in placements too. If we can move to the next slide. So this, I would hand it over back to Shivika to say, therefore, how the placements have happened in the DEM program. This is across years that we are trying to show you how things are progressing. And the center's involvement in the relationship kind of impacts some of these activities, although it is not a direct impact. It is more like a benefit that is accrued. Shivika, over to you.
Thank you, sir. So talking about the DEM placements for the batch 22-23, 100% of the batch was placed with the average compensation of 21.5 lakhs. The major recruiters included Accenture, Infosys, McKinsey Digital, IBM, Public Sapient, NimbleWorks, Reliance Retail. And the roles offered were consulting and strategy, product management, project management, sales and business development, data analyst, and operations management. Next slide, please. Talking about the current DEM placement batch of 23-24, 3 months of the program is yet to finish, and more than 50% of the batch is already placed in the roles such as strategy, technology consulting, research analysis, sales, and product management in the companies such as Accenture, Infosys, McKinsey Digital, ServiceNow, Amadeus, NimbleWorks, and Cognizant. Next slide, please. Talking about the DEM transformational journey, this is something I would like to tell about myself. I am an electrical engineer graduate. Post my graduation, I worked in the pre-sales role at Schneider Electric. And later on, I joined my family business, which was export of rice to the Middle Eastern region. While working, I realized that future innovation and sustainability is not possible without being digital. To become the leader of tomorrow, I do not only have to be managementally sound, but be well versed with the digital technologies also. Thus, I took up the course DEM. Over here, I've gone through 360-degree of transformation. I have a diverse, I learned through case studies. My batchmates come from diverse background. Someone who is from economics, accounting, engineering. When we do case studies, it is very much important because they bring their perspectives, which help me build critical way of thinking. Moreover, I do not only learn from them, but also from the industry. There are industry leaders who come regularly at the institution, talk about what is going on presently. And since we are updated and well versed with what is going on, we can easily connect and have a very well conversation. It is not only through the theoretical that we learn, it is an experimental learning. There are various projects going on. We apply what we learn. Moreover, regarding the placement, there is a continuous support. There is a dedicated learning and development center over here, which helps us prepare for our placements. We have one-on-one coaching. Moreover, we are helped to build our resumes. There are various sessions which are taken to understand what we want and how we should proceed. It not only focuses on a short term, but on long term. There are various programs running such as Unnati, Pragati, which helps us reflect on what is our past, what we want in future, and how we should move ahead. So moving on to the next slide. I would like to hand over to Dr. Y. Shekhar to talk about the live projects which are running.
Yeah, thank you, Shivika. So the purpose of projects, as Professor Rajesh mentioned in this program, is to enable students to start dealing with industry problems, which are real problems, and understand how by application of concepts and tools and technology, we're able to solve some of these problems. Now, typically, what does that mean? So organizations may have a lot of data, but they need a refined input for analysis, or they would need some degree of insights to be generated. So these kind of scenarios, we look at it from an analyst perspective. So these are complex databases through which students go through to filter out, which is the relevant data, how to process that, and which kind of engine to be used, and build on that, the kind of findings that become relevant to solving a business problem. The other types of cases or projects that we do are largely involving technology. In this current batch in which Shivika is, we've seen a very distinct and significant change from the earlier years. And it's an indication of how the industry itself is changing. We have over 50% of the projects under the domain of AI. The subsequent slide will talk about that. But everybody is talking about how can AI be used in different scenarios. And this is where the students actually work on such projects to look at. Some cases is to harness the algorithm, so refine or fine-tune the algorithm. In some other cases, it is to use AI and come out with some conclusions, which could be computer vision for maintenance, or it could be speech to text, or making summary of certain kinds of talks that have happened, all using an AI engine. So this is where, these students actually apply business concepts, look at the learnings of the fundamentals of digital management, data and technology, as well as how they are getting used in different industries to a project and start solving problems. There are cases on blockchain, there are cases on machine learning, which are all now becoming part of an integral project that we are looking at for the DEM students. What you see on this particular screen are some of the organizations that have partnered with us in giving us these projects on which these students are working. So the company that is giving us the project also gives us a guide, besides the faculty who's going to be a guide for these students. And the two guides actually land up evaluating the performance of the students. So if you happen to join this particular program, be assured that you would get that kind of an exposure. More importantly, you're going to be reviewed and evaluated by somebody from the industry for your projects. So that's a kind of a synopsis of what we do with live projects in DEM. Shivika, the next slide. So this is a graphical representation of how the projects this year have come in. And we are seeing a significant shift from the earlier years. Earlier years, we had a good distribution of projects from analytics and technology. But now we are seeing that analytics is getting subsumed under AI. So many of the algorithms that are being developed are now being developed using AI. Or many of the algorithms that are being used are now put under AI to see how analysis can be done in a more refined manner, or what kind of recommendations does the AI engine provide to the algorithm that's already in place. So these kind of studies are happening through the projects that are there. And there are projects on blockchain this year, which becomes quite interesting because blockchain is the basis on which many of the organizations are going to develop their business processes on. Now, over and above these, I would like to add here, there are smaller projects that these students do under each of the subjects that they learn. So some of them are curricular based, some of them are non-curricular based. If my memory serves right, Shivika, you can correct me. The current batch of students were also exposed to projects on the concepts of low-code, no-code development. So how, without knowing software development, you're able to develop a web page, or you're able to develop a web application or a mobile application is important. And this is where students actually get over any fear that they had with technology, or the thought that, they do not come from a computer science background or with relevant exposure to computers. How will they survive in this kind of a program? That's where, some of these interventions actually help significantly. Otherwise, the project is meant to drive that fear out and enable people to become bold and smart decision makers in the business. Shivika, back to you.
All right, so let me take a moment to kind of help you think through about this DEM program. So we believe, as I mentioned in the earlier part of this conversation, that MBA in Digital Enterprise Management is a unique program because there's no other program, we believe, in the country which kind of puts the management and digital together in this way. If you join this program and you successfully complete it, you get an MBA degree. And this program is extremely very heavily industry oriented, both in its design and its delivery, right? The design is influenced by the experts in the industry, and they're also involved in delivering a large part of this program. IIM Udaipur is a premier institution that I talked to you about a while ago. So I would like to say this: if you think that MBA is something that attracts you as a career goal, and if you think digital is the future of businesses, then perhaps this program would perhaps one of the good programs for you to consider. But at the end of the day, you have to take a call whether this program aligns well with your career goal. And if it does, then I would welcome you to consider applying in this program. So next slide, please. So, while we will try and answer all the questions that you have, but in case any question remains, or if it comes to your mind, even subsequently, you're very welcome to write to us at the email that is flashing on your screen, or call us up at any mobile or the landline number that you see on the screen. So I would urge you to take a screenshot of this so that you can always connect with us subsequent to the webinar. This will be there for a few moments. And then now I would urge Shivika to take us through the question answer section. Those of you who have not put in your question, please go ahead and put your questions in the Q&A section. So over to you, Shivika.
Yes, sir. So our first question is from Sohan. He has, I have yet to give GMAT. Do I have to give GMAT before application date of 31st Jan 2023, or I could give it in Feb as well?
I'll take this question. Sohan, as you know that the application is ending on 31st January, so we need a valid score before 31st January. So you need to give the exam before that, and you can upload the same at the time of application.
So the next question is, hello panel, how can this program help someone, and will this program help someone who is from core operations and manufacturing profile but wants to learn and move on into digital and technological space?
Let me answer that. We would need some more information about what you aspire to do. At a broad level, this program is agnostic to your background. Doesn't matter which background you come in from. It exposes you to both management and digital aspect, and you can choose to build your career on top of this particular qualification that you have. But just sort of interest, I would like to talk about, the kind of digitalization that factories are going through under Industry 4.0. Although it may not be taught in this particular program, you get sufficient knowledge base about how one approaches digital transformation for any kind of an organization. And maybe with your expertise and past experience, you may be able to come up with suggestions as to how manufacturing operations can be digitalized and become more beneficial for the organization.
So the next question is from Deep M. Is CAT score a bar for candidates with good work ex or extracurricular?
Let me take this. Deep, you must have a valid CAT, GMAT, or a GRE score. So it's a necessary condition that you must have any one of these scores. Now, if you don't have, then I'm afraid you can't apply. If you have, then I would encourage you to go ahead and apply and not overly worry about, how does your application look like. Let the admissions committee take a call on your candidature, right?
So the next question is work experience a mandate for students to join this MBA program?
Yes, work experience is mandatory. You have to have at least 3 years of full-time work experience after your graduation, because this program is for professionals who have put in at least 3 years of experience. If you have a fresher and you're not looking to have work experience, then perhaps you should apply for a 2-year MBA program.
So the next question is from Ashutosh. Can you please help me understand the kind of projects which are expected with AI?
I answered that in my talk in terms of saying that there are different kinds of projects involving AI. Some are analytics based, on which you train the AI to write the algorithm and refine the algorithm. There are computer vision projects of AI, which is used for looking at video data and deciphering through that. There is speech to text data basis which AI is used to look at summarization or speech, text, and visual data used for summarization. Then there are projects which involve training AI. So there is, how do you eliminate bias, or how do you look at AI's hallucination? So when it's making recommendations, that these recommendations are genuine and not coming from a biased source. So there are multiple areas of AI in which the students are working on these projects. And like I mentioned, a substantial portion of projects this year have been on AI. I hope this has answered your question.
So the next question is from NC. Is GRE score of 303 competitive?
Okay, so let me answer this. In fact, I see many questions where candidates have, put in their actual scores and asking whether they will be able to join, whether they'll get the interview call. As you can imagine, that's not possible for us to talk to you over this webinar to say whether a particular score is competitive or not. As I mentioned in the earlier part of my presentation, I mentioned that when the admissions committee evaluates the application, it evaluates the application in its totality, where your GMAT, GRE, or CAT score is only one of the components, right? There are other components where we look at your profile, overall profile, your experience, your education. And once you're shortlisted, then of course your interview scores. So I would urge that, if you have a valid score, and if you think this program excites you, if I were in your place, I'll go ahead and apply, because it just takes half an hour to make an application, right? Because it's very difficult for anyone to answer your question, right? So I would urge each one of you, those of you who have put in your specific score, that you please go ahead and apply, and you will know very quickly whether you get shortlisted and called for the interview.
So the next question is from Varun. What will be the batch size?
See, the expected batch size is going to be anywhere between 60 to 70 students in the coming year.
So the next question is from Tushar Mehta. What will be the interview schedule, and can we apply with multiple scores?
So as far as the interview schedule is concerned, for the cycle number 4, the last date of application is 12th of January. Once all the applications are received, then shortlisting will happen over the next 3 to 4 days, and within a 3-4 days time, you should expect to or say within a week at the maximum, you should expect to hear back from the admissions office about your shortlisting, and then the results will be announced in the due course. What's the next question? Can you apply with multiple scores? Yes, you can apply with multiple scores. If you have, results of both CAT and GMAT or GRE, whatever, please upload all of them that you have. And we will consider the best of the scores that you have.
So the next question is from Priya. I haven't given the GMAT, but I have 6 years of experience in design agency in Mumbai.
So Priya, you have to have at least one of the valid scores, GMAT, GRE, or CAT. If you haven't written any of those, then maybe you can consider writing either GRE or GMAT before 31st of January.
So the next question is from Ashish. Let's say if I apply for the 4th cycle and I do not get interview call, can I go for cycle 5 or even the next year with the same CAT score or new CAT score?
So let me take this. As far as this year is concerned, if your score remains the same and if you do not get a call in cycle 4, then you can't apply in cycle 5 unless you improve the score or you write a different exam. As far as next year is concerned, next year you can certainly improve your score by writing a fresh exam, and you can always reapply.
So I think Priya has a follow-up question. And also, if I give IIMU internal exam, how much time will I have to prepare, as I have never prepared for competitive exams like this?
Priya, for 1-year MBA program, there is no internal exam of IIM Udaipur. That is meant for a different program called Executive MBA, but not for this program. For this program, only eligible exams are CAT, GMAT, and GRE.
Next question is from Priyanka. How this program will help us in career shift?
Okay, let me answer that. Priyanka, any management program is designed to enable people to think as a manager, and typically prior to that, they would have been thinking, working, and experiencing more like a technician, specialized skill set and things like that. So this is what DEM also helps you attain in terms of knowledge and skill, that you'll be able to work like a manager, which means you understand people, you understand process, you understand outcomes, you understand how to organize things, all of these. However, what we are doing in this particular program is giving a clear bias to digital. So what happens in digital, the complexity, as I would like to put it, for digital, is that it's very fast. Things change very rapidly. The teams become very fluid. The skill sets change rapidly. So in such kind of context, how does a manager lead, or how does a manager direct, and how does a manager decide? These are the new challenges that are coming up, and that's what this program enables you to understand better. So, so what that means is that your past is not the indicator of your future. However, it may so happen that when you sit through the placement and the organization sees that your past becomes more useful for them, while your learning in DEM adds to it, they may request you to continue or offer you jobs in a field in which you worked earlier.
So the next question is from Jayesh. Could you please guide or maybe give a hint that what IIM Udaipur is looking in a candidate so that we can improve?
So I've been on interview panels in the past, so let me answer that. See, we use this word holistic, and holistic is that strong academic track record, good work experience, which means you should be able to talk about your work and allied areas of your work, and talk about your understanding, passion, and objective in digital. So how do you see these kind of things? So we look for strong communication skills, presence, ability to think, ability to answer in a manner that is not just being direct, but also supplementing it with certain kinds of validations and things like that. So that's where the overall decision is made. And I'm saying this because y'all are constantly asking this question about cutoff. It is not so much about one score. So like we are saying, we need a good track record.
So next question is from Vineet Kaur. What is the duration of the MBA?
It's a 1 year.
Sorry, go ahead.
I thought we said that.
No, the duration of the program is 1 full year. It starts in the first week of April and finishes latest by 31st March the next year.
So the next question is from Shivika Gupta. Post application shortlisting, there will be an online interview or a location-based interview?
Online. Online.
So the next question is, I'm working as a SDE. I want to move into the technology management function role rather than moving into people management. How can this program help me in such horizontal shift in the career?
Very difficult to answer. If you have such very specific goals, you should probably get opinions from people in the industry. We may not be the right people to advise you, because when you become a manager, you need to manage people. It's seldom a system where it allows you to manage only non-people related tasks. So probably get some validation for your interests from your friends, peers, or mentors that you have in the industry.
So next question is, post-selection, which month will the classes begin?
Classes shall begin on 8th or 9th of April in this year.
I believe all these are there on the website.
Yes.
The dates are all there on the website.
Next question is from Jayesh. Can someone apply in next round in case he got rejected in particular round?
No, you can't apply. Once you're rejected in a particular round, you can't apply in the next round unless you've improved your score or you've given a different exam altogether. With the same set of scores, you can't apply in the next round.
So the next question is from Sohan. Would a GRE scores of 10 years back work?
Tanu, you'll take this answer.
Yeah, sure, sir. No, it will not work because the GRE school is valid for 5 years.
We take past 5 years score, or we take past 3 years?
Past 5 years.
Past 5 years.
Next question is from Varun. What will be the application fees for the same?
It is 1,000 rupees.
Next question is, can we expect to be part of DEM course with very less CAD GMAT score percentile? How much weightage is given to each CAD GMAT score, academics, video, intro, and PI?
Let me take this. As I had said before, no matter how much you worry about this individual weightages and things like that, that will not take you anywhere. Either you don't have a valid score, in which case you write your exam and you get a valid score. If you have a valid score, I can't tell you what is a low score or a high score, right? Because all relative. So please, if you have a valid score, if you think digital excites you, MBA at IIM Udaipur excites you, go ahead and apply. That's the best advice I can give you.
So the next question is, with regards to fees, how much will this program cost?
The total program fees is 22,75,000, payable in various installment, and the details of it you could see on the website. I'd also like to mention that most of our students avail of a bank loan, and we have a tie-up with State Bank of India, where they are happy to give you what is called a scholar loan. If you have a valid admission letter from IIM Udaipur, they're happy to give you a scholar loan at attractive rates of interest.
So the next question is, for next academic year, when will the application start?
For the next academic year, the applications will start. You mean for the program that will start in the academic year 2025-26, application will start somewhere around month of August, right? But for the incoming batch of 24-25, admissions are closing on this month end.
So next question is, could you please help me when we can start expecting application shortlists? Since I have applied around more than 2 weeks back and I'm yet to hear back on the results. Thank you.
So I'll take this. So the deadline for the cycle 4 will be end around 12th of January. Tentatively, you'll receive a outcome of application before 31st of January. Means after the deadline ends, within a week, 2 week, you will get an outcome of the application.
So the next question is from Jayesh. Is there any chances of scholarship based on merit?
Unfortunately, we don't have any scholarship in this program.
Next question is, what are the prerequisite skills required for the course?
There is no prerequisite skill, but I would like to answer this a little differently. I mentioned this and Professor Rajesh had mentioned this. So this is agnostic to your background. That's how this program is designed. However, if you have certain inclination towards software development or towards understanding technology or some kind of a programming capability, it gives you an edge in some of those technology courses or analytics courses. Now, when we say it is agnostic, we have somebody coming from economics. Those students find, economics itself easy to understand. Some of the statistics subjects to be understood easy, and they find some of the technology subjects challenging. Whereas when we have people from an engineering background, they find technology subjects far easier, but they find accountancy or marketing subjects to be a bit of a challenge. So every student will find something or the other as completely new, completely different from what she or he has learned in the past. That's what is the beauty of this particular program and most of the management programs. So it is not one skill, but if you have a tendency to develop in certain areas, we would urge you to build further on that.
The next question is, does this program have international immersion?
Let me answer that. Rajesh, you said it very subtly, so I'm going to make it a little more emphatic. Incidentally, this happens to be the only program in the world as we see it. So hopefully others may come into this program at some point in time for immersion rather than we going there. India is bubbling with opportunities on the digital side. And we believe that what we are doing is cutting edge. And therefore, at some point in time, we would like to take pride in what we are doing.
So the next question is from Pradhi Goel. My question is to Shekhar sir. After a 4-year work
Yeah,
experience,
let me answer that. I have read that question.
No,
So,
but we'll have to read it loud for everybody.
sorry.
Yeah, please go ahead and read, Shivika.
yes, after a 4-year work ex in aviation sector, I have a career break of 4 years for UPSC preparation, in which I reached the interview stage thrice. Please give me advice on how to justify it in interview. Is it a deal breaker?
Pradi, honestly, I don't have an answer to say whether you'll get through or you'll not get through. It may be a good idea for you to apply and discover that, because it depends on the panel, and the panel would come up with their recommendations. So, what we look for, it is not whether you cleared UPS or how many attempts you took to do your UPS. It is what kind of a mindset you have, what kind of a perspective do you bring in, what kind of a knowledge base are you working with, what is your approach to problem solving. These are more important for us to look at in candidates to come into the program, rather than what kind of exams you attempted. So I would suggest that, as Professor Rajesh has mentioned, if you have your valid score for GMAT, GRE, or CAT, and you meet with those requirements, which are 3+ years, which you do, or full-time work experience, I would urge you to go ahead and apply and go through this particular experience.
So the next question is, please tell me the median of the salary package of last batch.
Okay, so let me take that. So the last batch that got placed, we shared with you the average salary, and the median salary is also very close to the average salary. But I would urge you to go to our website and go to the section where all the data with respect to the placement, not only for the last batch, but all the previous batches are, shared. You also have much more detail about the compensation, median salary, mean salary, as well as the sectors in which our students have gone. So I would urge, in fact, all of you to take a look at that placement report. I don't recollect the median salary as of now, but very similar to the mean salary.
So the next question is, uh, I'll be completing my 36 months of full-time experience in July 2024. Am I eligible for application, as by the time of the course commencement, I will complete the required 36 months?
Let me answer that. So you must finish the 36 months requirement, before this program begins. So, if you don't have that, you'll have to wait for the next year.
So the next question is, what is the number of students yet to be placed in the current batch? Could you reflect on institute's plan to place them considering hiring freeze?
So let me answer that. To my knowledge, it's probably in the early 20s is what the number I think it is, from a batch of 61. I'm looking at it in that manner. So it's you said 50%, but more than 60% is placed. The others are going through their rounds of interview. Companies are coming to the campus for placement. So the maybe the media term of hiring freeze is for certain kinds of skills that are either outdated or no longer required. But let me tell you that skills in digital, and especially management skills in digital, are not outdated yet, neither are they irrelevant. So companies are coming in, they're looking at the DEM program far more seriously than they did in 2020 during COVID times, when everybody was just speaking about digital. So we are seeing those shifts, and some of these take a little longer time than one would desire. So if you're a student on campus, you will know that these things start and end in their own cycles, and students will get placed.
The next question is from Nayan. Does this application process require LOR?
No, it's not required.
Next question is from Priyanka. Is this course recognized as a full-time master's program when pursuing a PhD?
Let me answer that. So what happens is that as far as the PhD program is concerned, different institutes have their own standards. And it's very difficult for us to say that whether this program would be acceptable in another institution. We can talk about ourselves. Yes, it is acceptable here, but we cannot talk about other institutions. It may be acceptable and it may not be acceptable. It's best to check with the institution where you plan to apply, whether this will be qualified as an eligible program for a PhD program.
Next question is from Jayesh. The global market is low at the moment and it's hard to get a good paying job. Is it same with IIM Udaipur or has IIM Udaipur taken any measure to counter the global recession?
I just mentioned, global recession or local recession or hiring freeze. These are for certain kinds of roles that were being hired in the past, which probably are not as attractive now as they were earlier. Whereas when it comes to digital, the context is very different. It is quite new and people are interested. And this is where most organizations are either looking at bringing in new talent or reskilling their existing talent into the digital space, which is why some time back I told you one of the areas that the center is working on is to train people, and especially the top management of organizations, on the digitalization. So these are the things that are happening as far as we know in the industry.
The next question is from Sayantan. Are there comparatively less number of seats for round 4, round 5 application?
No, that's not true. And as well, again, I would reiterate, if you have a score, go ahead and apply. Do not overly worry about how many seats are left. But what you answered, the question that you asked, the answer is no.
So the next question is there any alternative MBA 1-year program full-time course available at IIM Udaipur this year? MBA with some other specialization, if any, can you please name that?
Yes, so we offer two programs which are 1-year full-time MBA program. One is the Digital Enterprise Management program, and the other one is a Global Supply Chain Management program, for which the admissions are also open. So you can choose to either apply here or there.
So the next question is from Varun. I got placed before my graduation and started working almost 6 months earlier. I have 3 years of work experience now. Does this count?
Anu, you can take that.
Yeah, yes. So, Varun, as per the admission policy, we required 3 years of work experience, full-time work experience after the graduation. So, even if you started working 6 months back, but the work experience will count it only after your graduation degree.
So it all depends on when did you graduate. So your post-graduation experience will count. Pre-graduation experience will not count.
The next question is from Vineet. Can we get to know more about the faculty?
All right.
Faculty. Yeah, yes. It's there on our website for both full-time faculty as well as visiting faculty.
But let me mention this, that as far as the management courses are largely concerned, most of them are taught by the faculty of IIM Udaipur. As far as the courses specific to digital are concerned, many of them are taught by industry experts. But you are very welcome to visit our website and take a look at them.
The next question is, can a waitlisted candidate apply again?
No, a waitlisted candidate will get to know about the status of the waitlist through our portal or communication, so you don't have to apply all over again.
The next question is, with recent instances of placement offers getting revoked after graduation, does IIM Udaipur assist students for placements again?
Let me answer that. I don't think we have experienced revocation of offer letters from reputed organizations. But yes, deferments do happen, which is an organization's prerogative. And in such cases, we do continue to support the students in the best possible manner.
So the next question is there a dress code for DEM students at IIM Udaipur?
No, only, smart casuals is good.
So the next question is, IIM Udaipur has made a name of itself despite being relatively new compared to some of the well-established B schools in India. What makes it stand out is the faculty or the students?
First, thank you for looking at us in that manner. Rajesh, I think you should be looking
Yeah.
at this.
Right. So, an institution's image is a combination of so many things. It's difficult to point out at one particular aspect. It's the vision of the founders, the way the board of governors, construe and lay out its vision, the faculty members who are involved in teaching and research, the kind of students we are able to attract, and the kinds of companies who join us, in the placement process. So it's a combination of everything that I think comes together to give us the standing that we have. And right, so maybe it's a topic of a research that one would like to pursue as to how it's a very valid question, that how is it that some institutions fail or do not prosper as much as some other institutions prosper, right? So this is a good question to ask as a management student. And we have a subject called organizational behavior, which tells you more about it, how some organizations fail, how some organizations prosper.
So the next question is a request. I'm interested in IIM Udaipur GSM program. I've registered for yesterday's webinar but couldn't attend, and same due to some urgency. Can you please share the recording of the webinar?
Tanu, can you take this?
Yeah, sure. So the recording of the webinar will be available on the YouTube within a week. So within like 4 to 5 days, you will be able to get the recording on the YouTube channel.
Having said that, you can also see on the YouTube the recording of the previous webinars that we have had on GSCM. So if you Google GSCM webinar, so you can certainly see any other webinar, and it's not significantly different. So you just need to go to the Google, website and look at the YouTube videos.
The next question is, hi, there are students who are not from digital domain. Is it a good course for pivoting your career in digital domain?
Yes. I mean, we said it is agnostic to your past experience as well as qualifications. And that's what we are repeating. We've had students from languages background. We have students from non-engineering background, and they've all kind of done well after this particular program as far as their placements are concerned. But there is no bias that this program induces or expects for you to come in with.
The next question is from Pradhi Goyal. Can the panel please suggest a book or a documentary about digital enterprise management to increase our interest or knowledge about it?
Unfortunately, there's no book. We have to probably write one. Somebody is looking at saying, can DEM itself be a case study for us to write about? So there are no books on digital enterprise management.
The next question is from Parikshit Singh. Have final offer letters already been sent to candidates, or if the shortlisting is decided once all the stages of admission process are over?
Let me take this, Parikshit. So the first step is you make an application. For example, for cycle 4, that, the deadline is 12th of January. Then, based on the applications received, we shall be shortlisting and reaching out to the candidates who have been shortlisted for the interview process. Then interview shall take place, and then the final letters of offer or waitlist or whatever may be issued. So if you're talking about cycle 3, then all the steps are over, right? For cycle 4, all the steps are yet to begin because the deadline happens to be January 12th. I hope it answers your question.
The next question is a bad academic a deal breaker for this program?
Let me answer that. A consistent bad academic performance is definitely a deal breaker. So, certain aberrations are fine, we understand. But if it is consistently poor, then it becomes very difficult for any student to manage the pressures of a program like DEM.
The next question is, how much is a valid score? Is it defined and provided anywhere on IIM Udaipur's website?
So I'll take this question. I think as according to a valid score, we want to communicate that the score should be valid for to apply for the program. Like for GMAT, GRE, it's for 5 years, and CAT, we are taking CAT 2020 and above. So this is mentioned on the website also.
Yes, so by validity, we don't mean a specific score. What Tanu mentioned, validity means how old is your score. So for GMAT, GRE, if it's older than 5 years, it's not valid. For CAT, it's mentioned in the website as 2020 and onwards, subsequently, scores are valid.
The next is there any sectional cutoff for the CAT score?
As I said, we can't get into the nuances like this. If you have a valid score, please go ahead and apply. We can't talk about it in the webinar.
And the next question is, may I know if the interview focuses more on work experience or if the question can vary and include past academics? It's from
Both.
Parikshit Singh.
Both.
It's the prerogative of the panel. Panel doesn't come with a brief saying, ask only these questions. So, Parikshit, I would suggest go through that experience and probably come back and tell us what it was all about.
Yeah. So it seems we have answered all the questions that we have on the screen. But I'll say this again, while it would have helped, clarify many of the doubts you have had, but I think, if MBA excites you, digital excites you, if you believe digital is the future, and if you believe IIM Udaipur is an institution that you are happy to join, then go ahead and apply. It just takes 30 minutes to apply, and then you will know what happens to your application, right? And I hope you take a decision which is in your best interest, right? That matters the most. And I hope you take a good decision for yourself. And with those thoughts, I would like to thank my co-panelists today and wish you all the best. Thank you for now, and bye for now. And do write to us in case you have any questions that didn't get answered or you think you still have. Very welcome to write to us or contact us. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.